begin the meditation.
It's always a change of pace. After she gives her jokes, then we come up with the meditation. Please sit comfortably, feet flat on the ground, and your hands resting on your thighs. I recommend you close your eyes so you can shut out the visual distraction and can better concentrate on this meditation. Now focus your attention on your breathing. Don't change your breathing pattern. Just be aware of them. With each exhale, mentally say relax to your body. As you exhale, then you relax more and more deeply. Feel as if you're melting into your chair. Shrug and relax your shoulders. And relax the muscles around your eyes and your jaw. It's amazing how those muscles around your eyes can move. Relax your mind. Relax more and more deeply. Just let go. Relax. Now let your imagination take you to a lovely spot by the ocean. You are seated in a comfortable chair on the beach with an umbrella sheltering you from the sun. The air is warm and there is a gentle breeze cooling you. The sea is coming in and rolling back out. And you hear the power of the ocean in each wave as it comes in and breaks on the shore and then slips back out. You feel very relaxed and content. You feel connected to everything around you. Feel one with nature, with the universe. And let pure joy course through your body. Just be with it and feel that joy, that oneness with all. Breathe in that feeling and let any tension you may still feel leave your body as you breathe out. The beach seems to be empty, but from the far end you hear the sound of children playing. You can hear their laughter. Children's laughter is such a joyous sound. And you smile as you hear them. You feel very happy. Just enjoy this feeling of happiness. You have made this your special place. And you can come here for rest and rejuvenation anytime you wish. Now slowly come back to this beautiful place, feeling joyful, happy, and relaxed. Thank you.
Our speaker. Hello, Sergio.
Our speaker today is Patsi Krakoff. It's not too late to get fit, and here's how. Patsi will tell us about the latest neurophysiological findings to spur us into a fitness plan. Any age, she says. Plus, she will reveal a proven tip to forming lifelong habits that work while you have fun and live longer and happier. She believes everyone can get fit at any age, but in ways that may surprise us. Dr. Patsi Krakoff is originally from San Diego, California, and holds a doctorate of psychology degree. She's still working through her online writing services business. Content for coaches, where she ghostwrites newsletters, ebooks, and blogs for leadership coaches. In previous lives, she was an LA social worker, a Paris fashion model, a journalist for French men's clothes, and a global jet setter. That's a job. Her passion is to staying fit through tennis, gym, and jogging. And so far, Patsy's managed to surpass her short-lived family genes. Let's welcome Patsi Krakoff.
Thank you. Just a mic check. Can you hear me? Okay. I've got this appendage on my hips I'll have to get used to. Well, now that we're all meditated and cool and centered, I want to share with you a few things that I've been going through. I've been trying to diet and work out, and I've come to the realization that the next time I get smoking hot is going to be when I'm cremated. The other day we were at the gym, and my husband had a guy come up to him and said, "I want to impress a beautiful girl. Can you tell me which machine I should use?" And he said, "Oh yeah, there's an ATM just down the street." So, I want to tell you my favorite exercise. It's kind of a cross between a lunge and a crunch. It's called lunge. Now here's something to think about. Rabbits jump and they live about 8 years. And dogs, they do a lot of running and they live about 15 years. Turtles do nothing and they live 150 years. Something's not right. Thank you all for being here today, and thanks, Margaret, for the introduction. Besides having an interest in the brain and what creates and breaks habits so that we can live healthier and live longer with little or no effort. I like that part. In April, I was selected to be in a play here at Little Theater, in which I played the swim team captain for the Dixie Swim Club. I was kind of typecast because Cherie, the part I played, went around trying to crack the whip and getting everybody to exercise and work out and eat really healthy snacks that taste awful like cardboard. Well, the truth is not too far from that, as my husband will testify. But fortunately today we're not going to talk about nutritious food or cooking, otherwise you put me off the podium. I do want to share with you some really important news that can save your life, literally, really save your life and extend the enjoyment you're having. I truly believe that science has found the fountain of youth, the secret to living longer and living healthier. And it's not in a pill or an injection. It's actually here within you, or more likely in your feet. We all hold the possibility of a longer, healthier life, and that's the good news. Now, the bad news is we have to get off our butts and start moving, start exercising, or it's not going to work. I believe that a daily exercise habit will make you, help you live longer, shave off 70% of the normal decay that comes from aging, the things like weakness, sore muscles, sore joints, things like apathy, and it will help you eliminate 50% of illnesses and disease that afflict people our ages. That's a lot of promises, but science is starting to prove that it's true. Nothing in the next third of your life, because that's about what we have. We've already lived 2/3 of our life. We have the next third in front of us. Some of us have less, but there you go. Nothing is more important in this next third as vital as daily exercise. And that's really the main message that I want you to take home. But I don't want you just to listen to it and take it home, but I want you to actually do it. And I'll show you some ways to get started and to, just sort of add it into your life little by little, some tricks that I've used. There's an expert on fitness, Dr. Henry S. Lodge, who wrote a book with Chris Crowley called Younger Next Year. If you haven't read it, get it. It's a fun read and it's full of good advice. They have a series of books, Younger Next Year, Thinner Next Year, Richer Next Year, no, maybe not yet. But here's what he says. In 20 years, failure to exercise 6 days a week will seem as self-destructive as smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day. Now, I really believe that's true. I agree with him. I think we're fooling ourselves. We think we're going to stay healthy because we take a walk around the block or we walk the dog. And that's good, but it's not going to do it. There are some real health benefits that we're missing out on because we're not exercising enough, or we're not getting our heart rate up enough, we're not sweating. And, it wouldn't take that much more for you to extend that walk a little longer and get the health benefits that come from building muscle. But what do I know? I'm not a physical therapist or an exercise expert. I do know quite a bit about it because here's what happened to me. I've been exercising mostly every day for the last 30 years since I turned 40. But there's a reason I started doing that. In school, I studied journalism and psychology and biology, so I always had an interest in the body and how it works. I really enjoyed Candace Luciano's speech 3 weeks ago about longevity. That was full of good advice and to show you how our beliefs and our culture about something can seriously affect the quality of our life. And I think we're dealing with a lot of that here. Most of us aren't educated as to what kind of exercise you do, how much, for how long, etc. And so I'm going to try and educate you today, and then the rest is up to you. You may be thinking that it's easy for me to stand up here and say, exercise is really good for you. Duh. Everybody knows that. It's easy to say, but it isn't easy to do it. It is damn hard to do it on a regular basis. I know that. I have the habit, but I know how hard it can be, especially on days when you're tired, when you're hurt, when the weather isn't perfect. That happens once or twice a year. And of course, it is easier to exercise and get fit if you already are reasonably fit and athletic. That's true. But I didn't start out that way. Oh no. I was never an athlete growing up. I couldn't do sports. I couldn't see the ball. I was skinny. I didn't have any muscle. I've become a reasonably good amateur tennis player and an avid exerciser. And I did that by playing tennis and working out. And that's really the only way you develop these habits or any skills in them whatsoever. It's just you do it, and the next day you do it again. But what really happened to spark me on this path was my 40th birthday. When I turned 40, I thought, oh my God, how am I going to do this for another 40 years? In fact, I didn't think I could. I didn't think I'd last that long the way I was going. I experienced what can nicely be called an existential crisis. There are other people that say I was a falling down drunk, but we won't talk about that. But I did start asking a few questions, like, what's it all about? What is life meant to be? And is this all there is? I was having a hell of a good time, no question about it. But my long-term plan had a lot of holes in it, I asked myself, what am I going to look like in 30 or 40 years? Where will I be, and what will I be doing, and who will I be doing it with? If I die now, will I have lived a meaningful life? And if what I'm doing today, I continue doing it for the next 30 to 40 years, will I like the results I'm going to get? And believe me, I didn't like the answers. So I hit a rock bottom and turned things around. But it took hitting that rock bottom. It took taking a serious look at my life, my body, my mental state, my moods, and getting really fed up and disgusted with things before I even started doing anything about it. So, as a consequence, and it took me a whole year to do this, but at the age of 41, I had quit drinking. I stopped taking a few funny medications. I joined a gym. I got a personal trainer. I took up tennis. I started running, started walking. I started bicycling. Now, have I exercised every day since then? No way. I'm very clever. You know, if there's a way to get out of it, I'll get out of it. You know, if there's an easier, softer way or a handy excuse that I'll go for it. I'm too smart for my own good, they say. But I started from literally 0 minutes of exercise a week to what I do today, which is mostly 2 hours a day, sometimes 3. A good week I'll do an hour of hitting the ball with a tennis coach, 2 hours of ladies doubles, and then go to the gym. That's on a good day, and I can't do that every day. No way. But I'm convinced that this has extended my life by 10 years. I did not become a bodybuilder. I did not become a gym rat, really. I kind of got away with the minimum I could, and it worked. And this is what surprised me and really started me thinking, is that if I can do a minimum, but do it almost every day for a month, for a year, for 5 years, for 10 years, I like the kind of results I'm getting. And when you think about it, it didn't take that much effort. So I'm convinced I've extended my life by 10 years, and I'll tell you why. Everybody in my family has died. My mother at 52, my sister at 54, and she was relatively healthy. My father at 60. I do not have good genes. Now, I've talked to a lot of you here, and I know you have parents still living. You have good genes. You have parents who live to their 90s and sometimes 100. Some of you, I've met people in Ajijic who are 80 and 90 and are still playing tennis. You know, there are some wonderfully fit people here. But even if you have good genes, you can't get away with it. You still have to send that message to your body that now's the time to grow. Now's the time to stop decaying and start growing. Because your muscles will do what you tell them to do. And they are either not being used and decaying, or they are building chemicals and building tissue and they're growing. There's one way or the other. So I felt the effects of both, and exercising feels much better than not exercising. I also deal with injuries and pains and joints and the wear and tear of getting older. But I'm now 71, and I've learned a few things, and I've especially learned about what I can do and what I can't do. I tend to overdo things. Then if I start underdoing things, I tend to underdo things too. So the secret is to find what you can do to get started and find what's comfortable for you and what's fun. Because really, for the next third of your life, a daily exercise habit is vital for you. Now, I would like the people with the mics to come around because I want to hear from you. 2 things. What are you doing for exercise? How you do it, how often you do it, and what questions or concerns you have about exercise. Harriet's going to take some notes so that I make sure I answer your questions.
Perfect on.
So, anybody here want to share what they're doing for regular exercise? We have a number of hands back there, and a number of people trying to leave. The doors have been locked.
Hi, I'm Leila, and before I tell you what I'm doing, I just wanted to mention that my father died of heart disease at 52. My mother contracted lymphoma at 71. I've got 3 years to go and meet that. But my mother came from a long line of long livers. I don't know about my father. Well, his mother lived to be 96. So what I wanted to say is, you mentioned about genes. If you have bad genes, that's not an excuse for saying, oh, well, I shouldn't do anything because I can't help it.
You can.
Right. So what I do is I walk to the village from La Villita, which is right next door to Tobolandia, you know, the water park. I walk to and from the village every day.
Great.
And I sweat.
Good. That's what I want to hear.
Hi, I participate in Pilates.
Hang on.
Pilates.
If you're not looking at this young woman, she's gorgeous and she looks fit.
Pilates is excellent. The
Yeah.
reformer, I'm 55. Great
Wow.
Pilates. But I believe is diet. A lot of life is what you eat.
Yeah.
And the objective is to build muscle.
Yeah.
And that's a challenge in and of itself because muscle wants you to feed it a
Yeah.
lot.
Yes.
It does, and
Yeah.
you have to know what to feed it. And that's what I'd like to learn more about. If anybody
Okay.
knows how to feed muscle.
Thanks for sharing. Teresa, hang on. Wait for the microphone. Oh.
Yeah, hi, good morning, Chris Robertson. Let's see, well, I'm 63, my girlfriend's 62.
Wow.
So, we're very big on going to the gym, probably 4 to 6 days a week we go to the gym. My belief is that when you push a lot of iron, no matter what it is, that's where you're going to get strong muscle growth, bone growth, no depression. Even though you feel depressed going to the gym, when you get out of it, you'll get an endorphin rush if you do it right, and that's just like another kind of high. And I do agree that we agree that the nutrition that you eat between protein, high quality protein, vegetables and all that, just makes your system run better. It's like a car. If you put good fuel in it, you'll be eating 4 or 5 times a day because you're burning that fuel. That's my view.
Thanks for sharing. That's so true.
Hello, my name is Teresa. I am 70, and I want to mention something. I finished sport academy in Poland, but I was lucky. Since 15, I was always active. I was in sport, and my body is very strong. One doctor told me that, but still I have to take care of it. But it's not practical. Always use the word exercise. If somebody never was athlete, is scared about that word, you have to just move, because it's a book. Sitting heals, moving heals. Any kind of movement. At home, outside, walking. Walking is very good exercise, but of course, we have to sweat like she mentioned. When we sweat, when we push, it's not just strolling. You have to make effort. Going faster for 5 minutes, then regular way. Just be practical, but keep moving, not sitting. Housework, garden work, anything. Just whatever makes you happy, like she mentioned, pleasure, works.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ellen. I do Pilates too. I'm 40 and I'm from Los Angeles, and Pilates is very trendy there. I didn't do it before until I went to a nutritionist and said, how do I get a body like Halle Berry? She's like, Pilates. So it's very helpful. I'm curious if there is a Pilates place around here because there's so many, and it's fun. The other thing I do that's big in Los Angeles is I join the Sierra Club, and there are people who are 70, 80, who do 100 mountain, I mean, they're blowing me away. And so I don't know if there are mountain or hiking things around. Yeah, I like to go slow and I like to watch a lot. But, and then the other thing is, though, I don't like to descend because the knee issue. So I like to hike up, like, for example, Mount Baldy near Los Angeles because you can take the ski lift back down.
Well, we do have a hiking group and we do have a bird watching group. Okay.
Hi, I'm a yoga teacher,
Oh,
and I'm 85 years old.
wow.
And I teach a little strength training before my yoga class. I do a half an hour with light weights and just moving the body in a way to build strength. And then I do an hour of yoga after that. I do that 3 times a week, Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. And in between, I teach a chair yoga class for people
Chair
who
yoga.
really can't get down on the floor, but who need exercise. And so I teach that 2 days a week. I'd like to teach it 3 days a week, but I need more people. And And also, I believe very much in exercise, but also at the end of every program that I lead, I do a very, very deep relaxation, because I think it's very important to relax the muscles and to relax the whole body. And as we get older, it's harder and harder to do that.
Thank you. Well, I'll take a couple more and then.
Back here, Patsy. Back
Yeah.
here.
I think one of the main things about exercise is the endorphins that help the brain, especially during any depression. But a couple of things I noticed around here is that a lot of people jog, and I know you jog, you said. Boy, the knees after 40. Now I have one hip, and spinal surgery from arthritis, from being a prior dancer. But one thing you must remember, and I must remember, is that muscles remember, so they can go back if you start exercising. Personally, for me, I'm going on the Camino de Santiago
Wow.
in September. Wish me luck.
Yeah, good luck.
And I'm up to only 6 miles a day. And
Wow.
I haven't tried the backpack, but
Yeah.
I'll do what I can do. And for those of you who smoke or are going to the States, I cannot get Nicorettes here. They stopped bringing them. So if you want to help me, please bring me a pack of Nicorettes. Thank you.
Thank you. Back to younger niece, because I didn't start working out till I was 40. But I don't jog more than once a week, because it's just too hard on the body. You know. One more over here.
Got one over here.
Oh, yes, you had your hand
Hi,
up.
my name is Wayne Ranson. I would say exercise changed my life. When I was 44 years old, I didn't know how to dance much, and I said, I'm going to learn how to dance. And I took ballroom dancing lessons. And in 7 months after taking dances, I met my wife Maureen at Fred Astaire Dance Studio. And dancing is a great way to play with each other. It's a moving meditation. It's just wonderful. And also, we like to kayak. And we started a kayak club down here. We go kayaking about 7 hours a week. And it's just beautiful.
Great, thanks for sharing that. One more? That's fine.
I joined a fitness class at the university many years ago, and the coach said every other day, not every day. You're now saying every day. So what's the discrepancy?
Sure. Okay, let's move on because we're a little short on time. I'll answer that right away. I said it because if I have to skip a day, I forget on the second day what I was supposed to be doing. So it's just more regular for me. But I will not exercise the same group 2 days in a row. So it's one day arms, the next day legs, the next day core. You've got a lot of body parts there, and a lot of variety you can do. I'll try to do cardio, and I'll try to do strength training. We're going to talk a little bit about these, and it was really interesting to hear some of the things you're doing, and I really applaud you. A question I always get, and didn't hear it here today, but is what is the recommended daily dosage, if you like, of exercise? Unlike medicine, exercise doesn't come with dosing instructions. And of course, it's a little bit individual, depending on your age and the kind of shape you're already in. But the latest study shows this. The researchers at the National Cancer Institute, Harvard University, and other institutions pooled all their data from all the studies they've done. And they also did it from 6 large ongoing health surveys. So they wound up with information on 600,000 adults over middle age. Using this data, the research compared how much they exercised each week and who died in the next 14 years and what they died from. So here's what the results were. Not surprisingly, the people who did not exercise at all were at the highest risk of early death. But those who exercised a little, not meeting the recommended daily levels, but just a little, still, they lowered their risk of premature death by 20%. That's important. Now, the moderate exercise every week. If you do that, that makes about 20 minutes a day. You have a 31% less risk of dying during a 14-year period afterwards. So that's pretty good. What about those who met the minimum of 150 minutes and then tripled it? See, these were our avid exercises. They exercise an hour a day. Well, their percentage of risk of premature death was up to 39%. So, you're comparing to the people that didn't exercise. But they also went further. They used data from the extreme athletes, the people that were exercising 2-3 hours a day. They wanted to know if there was a limit, and there was. So after 450 minutes a week, you don't get any additional benefits. You lower your risk of premature death by 39%. However, the good news is you don't increase your risk for premature early death by virtue of the fact that you're over-exercising. So if you feel like over-exercising, go for it. So the summary is this. Something is better than nothing. And more is better than a little. That's how you have to remember. Do something, not nothing, something, and then do it a little bit more. My opinion is to start off slow and build up and do something you like. And there's really a lot of choices, and I'll run through a list for you if you want. And then in week 1, see how much you can do without getting too sore, so you can do it the next day. Week 2, do it again. Just stay at that basic level, whatever it is, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, and get acclimated to it. And once you've got that, say in the 3rd week or 4th week, up it a little bit. See if you can go a little bit further, a little bit faster. But don't start a walking program if you hate walking. You're going to burn out, you're not going to like it. So it would be better to do something with a friend and make it enjoyable, such as having conversations. But go fast enough so that you're a little bit out of breath and you're sweating and can still have that conversation. Walk with music if you walk alone, or walk on a treadmill in the gym. And if you're in the gym, instead of walking on a treadmill, you can do one of those elliptical cross trainers. It's virtually no impact on your knees, and you can get up a really good sweat. And the good news is you can have a book or your Kindle right there in front of you. So you can get your workout and read your books at the same time. I went through graduate school that way. My husband met me that way. I was up on the stair climber for 1 hour every day, reading all those big books in psychology. And because I couldn't sit still long enough to read the books without doing something else, and that just worked. Find a sport that you really like. Here at Lakeside, you can join a group for yoga, bicycling, kayaking, softball, tennis, dancing, tap dancers. Any tap dancers here? Yes. You have tango lessons. You have Zumba. You have hiking, running, fitness exercise classes, and swimming. And I'm sure there are many more that I haven't mentioned. So you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone and be social about it at the same time. Now, golf, I didn't mention, because golf is nice and it's really fun, but you're not going to get the same benefits of longevity unless you're sweating. How many of you sweat on a golf course? Some do, but most stay in the car, you know. In the old days, you had to walk the course, and that really, helped you get some exercise. But taking a leisurely walk to the marathon, getting a cup of coffee, is not really, it's not going to do it either. You have to walk fast and hard for 30 minutes. Pump, breathe, sweat. But you are the expert on your own body. My opinion is get a personal trainer. When you're first starting out, get a personal trainer. Ask all your questions. Get a program just for you that you can follow on your own. And this is the best way to do it because he will have you do things that you're not going to do on your own because you don't know how and you don't really like them anyway. But go ahead and do it with a trainer and find out what exercises you really like. For example, for years I never did a sit-up. Couldn't stand them. Then I discovered the balance ball. But you can lay over on your back on the balance ball and do sit-ups, and it's a lot easier on your back. I really like that. Now I've become addicted to doing them. Just find whatever it is that works, but do something. So to get started, here's a step-by-step plan. First of all, make a plan. Decide what you're going to do. Is it going to be jogging, walking, knitting? No, your hands are probably okay with knitting. But something where you're moving your feet. So have a plan, make a commitment. How do you make a commitment? You sign up for a gym, or you hire a personal trainer. You commit to it. You make a schedule. When am I going to be able to do this every day? Early in the morning before all the interruptions start? Or maybe at the end of the day when things are already done and I'm more calm? The big step too is chalk it. Write it down. Write what you're doing each day. I don't do it anymore because I use fitness trackers, and I've got a Razor Nabu fitness tracker that keeps track of all my steps, my calories, how much time I've spent running or walking or jogging. So you can get these little apps that make it much more interesting. You don't have to write it down by pencil anymore. Have a plan B if it's raining. If you can't exercise at your usual time, find out something else you can do if something happens. Don't stop. Now, it's okay to skip once in a while because you're sick or your sister arrived or whatever. That's normal. But don't skip more than 1 or 2 days because it's going to be harder to get back. It's like an alcoholic who doesn't get drunk because he doesn't pick up the first drink. With exercise, you become habituated to a regular exercise habit because you don't stop. You go back to it the next day if you have to stop one day, but you don't stop. You may plateau. You may not be getting much benefit. You may get bored, but that's okay. You do it anyway. You're building a lifetime habit. You're not winning a contest, and you're not winning a race. And few of us would win the race if we entered today anyway, but the idea is to get a daily exercise habit. You will start getting the benefits for your health somewhere down the road, but you're not doing it for that. You're doing it to build that habit. Some of the fitness apps are amazing. Okay, here's one. I'm going to show you. You can get a heart monitor to make sure you're getting your heart rate up sufficiently to get the benefits of the longevity. This is called Heart Rate Plus. I put my finger over my camera. And it records my heartbeat. I have an irregular heartbeat. It also records that. It's called, hang on, that was 71, that's not bad. Let me give you the name. It just says Heart Rate Pro. There are millions of them. I think it costs $2, maybe less. I've also got a 7-minute workout. 7 minutes, that's not much. It's like you could do this before you brush your teeth in the morning. It'll exercise all the major muscle groups. So you've got your jumping jacks for 30 seconds. You've got some squats for 30 seconds. Let's see what else. You've got, about 10 exercises for 30 seconds. And that's it. Now, if that's all you've got time to do today, that's fine. That happens. Life happens. But you're not going to forget to do it because it's going to buzz you on the machine here. This fitness tracker, go ahead, you're wearing one. Which one is yours?
Polar.
A Polar. Hold your arm up. It's a black band. What does yours do?
It tracks. It tells the time as well, so it's a walk. It tracks how many steps I take and the theoretical calories consumed. And it's got some other things that I don't.
Yeah.
Where do you get those?
It's a little bit like a Fitbit. You've got one too. Great. This has changed my life. I mean, it's a silly little thing, and if the Lord knows it's not accurate. Every time I'm in the car and I go over a bump, I get 5 extra steps. I just want to sit and drive around all day. But the point is, if I've only got 10,000 steps today, and need to go to the store, I'm going to walk to the store and come back. I can get a whole load of steps just walking into the village and back. And before, I would take my car. I live 3 blocks away. I mean, it's stupid. But it really does motivate you. They'll tell me how many calories are burnt. And the most amazing thing is, at the end of the day, I'm generating 14,000 steps a day. I'm working out. I'm doing tennis. And they'll say, good, you can eat 1,750 calories today. I'm going, what? All that and only 1,700 calories. It makes you aware of how little we burn. We think we burn 2,000 calories. Not always. Okay, I'm not saying it's real accurate either. But it makes you aware that when you're piling out 3,000 calories, you're not burning it all. So that's interesting. And it's on my iPhone, and it's telling me today I've done 2,000 steps. I've walked a whole mile. I've burned 650 calories. You can track your weight with it. And it tells me how much sleep I've gotten, because every time I get up to go to the bathroom, it does a blip on the screen. So I can total up the hours of sleep I've done. That's interesting, because none of this is any good if you're so tired because you didn't get a good night's sleep. You have no energy and no motivation to work out. So I know we've got a few more questions, so let me just wrap up and review my notes to make sure there's nothing really, really important. I wanted to say something about age and injuries and getting sore. That's a normal part of the business. Most women think, oh, I'm sore, I can't work out. What? No, you can't. You have to. There's a normal soreness, which is good. It's a good soreness because it means you're building muscle. You're making progress. And don't be afraid of that. What you have to be aware of is, yes, you can get injuries, and you need to check that with the doctor and get to know your body so you know when you shouldn't be working out at all. And that's important. But take Advil, take anti-inflammatories, do something alternative like a non-impact exercise, swimming, yoga, Tai Chi. I think there's someone here that does Qigong. Yes. And all of those movements are great for flexibility and stretching, and will keep you from injuring yourself. You never know when you're going to need a muscle. For example, if you start to fall, you need to have those fine muscles around the ligaments and the tendons that are going to support you and break your fall, or if you actually do fall, it's going to support the bone so it doesn't break. I've fallen a couple of times this year, hard, on the tennis court, over my own feet or whatever, but I haven't broken anything. And osteoporosis is a serious concern for women after menopause. In fact, let me just read you some statistics because it's not good. Hip fractures will kill more women than breast cancer. I didn't know that. 20% of women who fall will break a hip, after breaking a hip will die within the year. I didn't know that. And of those who survive, many don't live independently again. They're in a wheelchair or a walker. There are over 1 million spine fractures a year from falls. So we do lose a lot of bones, and the only thing that stops that is weight training, strength training. Most women aren't used to it. They think it's something for men, bodybuilding. You won't get bulky by lifting weights. Don't be afraid of that. It is one of the few things that will protect your body from falling and osteoporosis. So, in closing, remember there's three kinds of exercise. Aerobic exercise, where you get your heart rate up and you're sweating. That's what you're aiming for. It's approximately 65% of your maximum heart rate. Go on Google and find out how to calculate that. The second kind of exercise is strength training or weight lifting. Two different kinds, both are important. And the third, of course, is yoga, stretching, flexibility. That doesn't bring the benefits that I'm talking about to your muscles by helping you to avoid disease and live longer. But the first two do, aerobic and strength training. So it's up to you. My guidelines aren't for everybody. I try to do 6 days a week of an hour if I can. At least 4 days a week of aerobic training of 30 minutes. And at least 2 days a week of strength training in the gym with weights. The other 3 rules I have is quit eating crap, quit drinking crap, eat the foods you know you should, do things with your friends, and get passionate about something in life, something you can really enjoy. And those are the keys to living longer and healthier and happier.
got gyms to accommodate all of us here. We're gonna, thanks so much, but you're not free yet because now we're gonna take questions.
Okay.
Wait, yes. Hold your hand up, someone will raise your mic.
Patsy, hold here, David. Is there anyone here who does CrossFit? If anyone does, let me know. Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, it's a great form of exercise.
Yeah.
You see them on TV every once in a while on ESPN.
Hi, no, not so much of a question, but just to add on a couple of things. Number one, in yoga, and I too am a yoga instructor. I'm not teaching at the moment, but if you do vinyasa flow yoga, you will have a sweat and you will have a high heart rate. So I just wanted to correct that. There's about 50 forms of yoga, and some of them are more aerobic than others.
Absolutely.
Number two, I've been reading a book about the 9 zones in the world where people live over 100. A lot of them live over 100. And one of the things they say about exercise is that these people incorporate what they call mindless exercise. In other words, they walk 5 miles because they have to buy food, and they do it well into their hundreds. They don't think about it as exercise, or they garden because they have to eat. So you were saying find something that you love, and I concur, definitely concur with that. And CrossFit, I believe there's a CrossFit trainer at the Health House Gym in Chapala, that's on Guerrero, in the Centro, that's where we work out. There's also a lot of people, trainers there, including a really talented woman named River or Rio. And these are people who are competitive bodybuilders, and they know a lot about the body and about what to eat to feed your muscles. Thank you, that was great.
Thank you for that addition. Yes.
What's your suggestion on water intake daily?
Yes. As much as you can. Absolutely.
When you speak about the lead of ibuprofen, and I'm doing both mountain climbing here and there, one day, and then 4 days of increasing walking. Muscles are hurting, take warm bath. Do you believe I should take the Aleve in the morning or after I finish?
You know, a lot of people can't even take Aleve or Advil because they're on blood thinners here. So do not take those unless you have a doctor's permission, even though it's over the counter. And I would not give you advice on that because I'm not a medical doctor. That said, you know your body best. So work with your trainer or your coach or whoever knows what your goals are to get the best result.
Over here, Patsy. Under the tree.
Hi, I have a question on sleep. I have a theory that when you dream, or if you dream heavy dreams, that really takes away from your sleep time. Have you ever heard of such a thing?
No, contraire. I've heard that when you have dreams, that's your REM sleep. It's the most preparative of all sleep. Aim to have that at least once during your night.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello. What do I do in my case? I have quite a severe osteoporosis. I exercise, I eat very healthy. What else can I do?
Well, see your doctor, of course. There are some medications. I don't know anything about them. I'm not a medical doctor. Your exercise, you're doing something reasonably well?
We're doing Tai Chi.
Yes, but what about weightlifting, something that...
I'm a little bit afraid about that.
Yeah, I would look into it. Get a trainer who's not going to push you too much. But the way your bones are protected is when they get the message from the muscle that they need to work harder, they do. You're not stressing them enough. It's good stress, but you have to challenge them, otherwise they won't grow.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I do walk about almost an hour a day, briskly, 6 days a week, but one of the things that I just became familiar with, which I did not know about, there's a huge craze around the world for pickleball. And it's coming here. And so for those of you who don't know what it is, it's a court that's about a third of the size of a tennis court, and you use a paddle with a wiffle ball. And in retirement communities all over the United States, I know, and I think in Canada probably too, you don't have to run like you would with tennis, but you get a lot of exercise. It's not as fast a game, because obviously a wiffle ball isn't going to hurt you, nor do you have to go very far. But there are 2 courts now in Racket Club, and there are going to be a number of them all around this area. And they're starting a pickleball association. So just watch for that, because it could be a tremendous exercise opportunity for a lot of people, so that you can still get what you need without hurting yourself.
Those courts aren't built yet, but they're coming, and that would be great. Because what we need are sports that seniors can do right away. You don't have to take lessons for 10 years. Anything else here? Wait for the mic.
I just wanted to know if there was any place, I'm new here a couple of months, and I just wondered if there was any place to start looking, like a list of yoga studios or places, you know, that were cumulative, where I wouldn't have to just go looking all over the place.
There's a number of independent ones here and there, but yes, go to the Drishti Center behind Lloyd, across from Super Lake, the street that goes up the little theater. There's a center there. Yes.
I just want to make one thing. Sorry, you mentioned getting a personal trainer. Personal trainers are great, and I really agree. The point I want to make is you don't have to sign up for a long term. You just get somebody one day and get them to put you on the right program, send you on the right track. Someone will come to your home. You don't have to join a gym. You don't have to make a long-term commitment. You can find a lot of really good personal trainers and cards at gyms. And then find the one you want, find a recommendation, but you don't have to sign up for long-term. You just do it one time. Well, and if you like it, you go on, but just do it one time. Just get started. That's the whole point.
Thank you very much. You know, you're really cute. Are you available?
Who was she talking to?
That's my husband. Not David. No. Karuna, you had something in mind tonight.
Stand up, stand up.
I would just like to mention aquarobics. Aquarobics, yeah, it's real easy. You don't feel you're doing any exercise. I go to the Riviera del Pilar covered swimming pool 3 times a week, and I believe you really work your muscles, but you don't notice it. It's not stressful at all. And I used to worry about getting my hair wet, but you have to wear a cap. So it's not that bad. Really, really recommend it.
Thank you. You sweat, but you don't notice it because you're in the water.
Okay, I think this will be our last.
The last
one.
one.
Go on forever.
Well, several years ago, I had bought a little paperback book, and it said Sexercises. It hasn't been mentioned here, but there were so many body movements, and I thought it would be good for the back. So I don't have advice, I have this question. Will somebody fill in on how good sex might be?
Yes, well, that's a topic for another discussion. I'm sure if you look on Amazon, you'll find exactly what you're looking for. Thank you.
It's been a wonderful session. Thank you so much, Patsy. Thank you all of you for coming, and we hope you'll come back next week to learn about our theaters. So please dispose correctly of your coffee cups. It seems like